You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Black Diamond Club, Pure Chiro Notes, MoveWell University, the Chiro Dex app, and Alok Trivedi. Let's hustle.
All right, guys, this is episode 22 of the Chiro Hustle podcast, and today we have a really cool guest. I'm your co-host, Luke Millette, and here's your host, Jim Chester.
Hey everyone, so we just got done with Dr. Shane Kurth, and he runs a really cool torque release technique chiropractic office in Louisville, Colorado. And if you guys are interested in learning more about how to do brand awareness and getting out there into the community with social media, Dr. Shane Kurth is your man, so listen to this episode and dive right in.
So, Dr. Shane, what first influenced you to become a doctor, and specifically the type of technique that you do in your clinic?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I always knew I wanted to go somewhere into the healthcare world. And when I started shadowing a chiropractor once I was a senior in high school, and then spent my summers of undergrad going back home and basically hanging out, learning things and tricks of the trade in his office. And I kind of had like a false perception even then of what chiropractic actually was. Thought I wanted to become this like big sports chiropractor, which I do take care of a lot of athletes now. But once I got down to Life University, kind of really learned the entire picture and wanted to open up a family-based practice to take care of, entire communities instead of just athletes. And that's kind of what led me to where I am today in a nutshell.
Really quickly, do you want to just share with the folks at home some of the athletes that you take care of?
Yeah, so a couple of the big ones. Neely Spence Gracie, she is a professional runner. She guarantee will be on the Olympic team coming up for the next Summer Olympics. They wanted her on it last year, but she decided to take a different route. But she is a marathon runner and has been one of the top placing American women runners for a few years now. Another one, Lavelle Simpson, he's a professional MMA fighter. He actually just dropped off an autographed pair of gloves for me last week, but knocked his last opponent out in 30 seconds, which was pretty cool. And then we've got all different types of local celebrities that come in here. A lot of people won't know who they are, so I won't mention them, but lots of cyclists. I'm a big cyclist now, so work on plenty of them.
That's really interesting, man. And over the past couple years, I've gotten to know you really well. So you make it a pretty easy interview for us just because we already know a lot about what you do and who you are.
Absolutely. Always enjoy working with you guys.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go off script a little bit here, and I'm just really curious, what made you want to do TRT over traditional chiropractic?
Good question.
And maybe can you explain that a little bit, what TRT is?
Yeah. So I'll explain kind of what got me into it and then explain a little bit more about the background of it. So like I said, I wanted to become this big sports chiropractor, so I thought I was going to go into school like a majority of the people do and learn all this different stuff, which you don't need in your practice. You know, you got to focus in on a specific technique that works for you. And I've always suffered bad anxiety, pretty severe anxiety my entire life. Many of you guys probably heard this story, but if you haven't, when I was younger, I would try and go sleep out at friends' houses. I would usually get homesick. Parents would have to come pick me up in the middle of the night. Once I got into undergrad, I started having full-blown panic attacks. Didn't really know what was going on. Was hospitalized a few times for them. And they basically said, hey, Shane, you have anxiety. Here's the medication for it. You're going to have to take this stuff as long as you have it. And when I was younger, I didn't really think twice about it. It's like, sure, if that's going to make me feel normal, no problem. And jump forward a few years. Once I got into chiropractic school, started learning about different techniques, how chiropractic care was designed to help the overall function of the body. Torque release just came out, and it came out from a huge research study that showed how much it improved people's quality of lives. So I started having it performed on myself, and within just the first 3 months, my anxiety levels went from way up here right back down to a lot more normal. and manageable level. And I ended up specializing in that technique and run a torque release, one of the largest ones in my area now, to help other people achieve higher quality, better quality of life. And torque release is, so all chiropractic techniques, majority of them, are designed to help reinstore proper neural pathways from the brain out to the rest of the body so that we can perform and work at our maximal level. Torque release is a tonal technique. So instead of just focusing on structure, we focus on structure as well as the actual tone of the spinal cord and the nervous system. And one of the big basis behind torque release is how that quality of life aspect works. So there are several spots within our spinal cords that actually produce the chemicals that are responsible for our well-being, like our dopamine levels, our serotonin levels, as well as a lot of different chemical and hormone levels. So if there are certain things happening with within our spine that deplete these chemicals, that's where anxiety, depression, addiction, and poor quality of life come from, which can lead to all different types of things. So as we can get everything working the correct way again, these chemicals will begin to get stimulated, balanced back out to where they should be. So in return, people's quality of life goes up here, anxiety, depression, addiction goes back down this way, allowing us to just focus on doing the things that we enjoy.
So I've seen what you do firsthand, and I've done a lot of marketing events with you in your clinic. Tell us a little bit about the style of the scans that you do and what people can expect to see from that type of method.
Yeah, so I use a company called CLA and use their Insight Millennium Subluxation Station. And in my practice, they have a lot of different components. I just use their thermography, which monitors and assesses the autonomic nervous system, which is in charge of basically all of our organs, glands, and the internal things going on within our body, which is what I like focusing on correcting in people. So an initial person comes in here, we do a thermal scan to find out how well their body is functioning. If it's not functioning well, where the problem areas are. Depending what I see there, we will do a full set of 3D structural x-rays to get an even further in-depth analysis. And then I walk new practice members in here through about a 30 to 45 minutes report that I developed for them to go over their findings, let them know, what I found, what it all means, lay out a plan, give them some more realistic guidelines and expectations on how I would be able to help them out. And then we will continually, every 3 to 4 weeks, we will track and monitor their progress with the torque release technique by re-scanning them, doing neurological evaluations along the way to make sure we're seeing the progress and objective improvement that we're looking for, as opposed to just taking people's word for it or just listening to the subjective part.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the technology you use in your office is also NASA certified, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great company. So it's all, I have a lot of my patients like, well, hey, how come, is it going to be the same if you do it again? Or how do I know that this doesn't just pop up colors? And there's dozens of peer-reviewed research studies and journals that show all the intra-examinability reliability. Sorry, mouthful there. But basically means I'm a chiropractor. I can use the device on the same person multiple times in a row. I should get the same results. And I should be able to have 10 chiropractors line up, use it on that same person, and they should get the same results. So that since it's reproducible, that's how we can have peer-reviewed studies and research articles written on this equipment.
So, do you have any mantras or quotes that help you with your commitment as a chiropractor? Are there any quotes that just stand out in your head?
Not as a chiropractor particularly, but I live my life by the motto: work hard, play hard, and you can't do too much of either one of them. I've been through a lot in my life. I've been through Not going to compare myself to anybody else, but I've been through more in my life, and I'm not too old yet than some people will experience in their entire life. So I've been through the ringer with all types of stuff, and one of the biggest things to kind of get me up when things aren't whether things aren't going good or they're going too well, you still have to have that balance. And a lot of people can overwork themselves, burn themselves out, and they don't realize the importance of, hey, get out for a weekend here or there. Make sure you cut it off at a certain time of night and don't just keep working away, and that will set you up for long-term success. Every once in a while, I understand we got to get down to the grind and go to town, work as hard as we possibly can for certain projects, but it's very important to have that work-play balance.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite mantras too.
Yeah, I definitely like that one.
So I know that what you do, Dr. Shane, is you help a lot of other chiropractors with social media, and I know you help, represent the torque release technique. So what would more people be able to do if they knew what you're doing with the world of chiropractic? I mean, I know you're like cutting edge on how you use media. Tell people a little bit more about that, and then what would more people be able to do if they knew what you're doing?
Sure. So the possibilities are endless with the chiropractic profession. So a little bit of my background on the social media marketing, another company that I own and run called Vantage Point Marketing, and we basically do full service social media agency to do Facebook and Instagram marketing for any type of companies. We've worked with just over 100 different businesses now, and lots of chiropractic clinics as well as other big healthcare facilities, and do anything from coffee shops now. One of my newest clients, large medical company. Chiropractors probably aren't going to like to hear this part of it, but they're one of the major partners with the Mayo Clinic, which is one of the largest facilities out there. So a lot of big deals going down, and what any business can value from social media marketing is education and brand awareness. Now, going back to the chiropractic profession, a majority of us lack the education standpoint. I know we all know different chiropractic clinics out there. They focus on pain management. They don't educate people to tell them how chiropractic care should benefit them, or hey, just because your back is not hurting, this is why you should come see me. It's easier way out. Hey, you hurt, come see me. I'll try and get you better. And then when you hurt again, come back and see me again. And that's how I was raised going to the chiropractor, which is because there was a lack of education there. And with social media marketing, you have your entire community at the click of a button, maybe honestly the click of 10 clicks, and you can show them whatever type of educational material you want to show them. So if everybody was doing what I do for other chiropractic offices or for their own office, I mean, we're talking about reaching millions, if not billions of people a day that have never heard the message that they need to hear. And when I particularly work with clients, we take it to a whole new level. There's a lot of people out there. There's millions of people within like 10 miles of my office, which isn't that many compared to some of you guys. A lot of you guys are going to have multi-million people communities within a few miles of your office, and you're going to want to weed it down to show, everything comes with a budget. It costs a lot of money to show millions of people what you want to show them. So I weed mine down to moms that are, I only show my educational materials to moms that are between the ages of 35, basically 35 years old and above, that live within 5 miles of my office, that live in an average household that makes over $100,000 per year, and they also have kids. And I still have about 10 to 20,000 of them that live right by my office. So I will just continually market to that same group. Once the moms come in here, they will usually drag the husbands in here. But as far as the business model goes, that's what works best for me with social media marketing. But if everybody was putting out ads like that or educational materials on social media, imagine the reach that we could have over the entire world. I mean, it's insane. When people tell me that they don't do social media marketing, I kind of laugh now. I'm like, if you're spending any money on marketing, it needs to be social media. And then other things you want to do, you got to spend on top of that. But in my opinion, and that's not going to change for a while. Facebook and Instagram is the go-to spot right now for any type of investment into social media or into their marketing budget.
So let me ask you this. Do you think there's competition in chiropractic between chiropractors?
The reality is no. But to an extent, yes, chiropractors can see it that way. But the reality is there's more than enough people to go around. It's more or less the lack of communication and education to realize, like, hey, why don't as many people come to see us that go to the dentist on a regular basis? There's a major gap between how many people on a regular basis go to a dentist, let alone believe in dentistry. That goes even higher up, versus how many people go to the chiropractor and believe in chiropractic. We have a major fall off there. So there is a short answer is no, there should be no competition, but because of the lack of marketing and education from chiropractors, yes, there is competition because everyone kind of dives into the same boat and starts trying to take care of the same people.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Black Diamond Club, Pure Chiro Notes, MoveWell University, the Chiro Dex app, and Alok Trivedi. Let's hustle. Yeah, and I understand that too. I kind of put you on the spot there with that question, so I apologize for dropping that bomb on you. But, you know, when it comes to social media, that's what you were talking about, and that's what you're going towards. And I think that people don't realize that how effective you can be. Even if you had an office right next door to another chiropractor, if you ran social media the right way, you would see yourself becoming so successful. And you would watch, you know, there would be no like crossover between like confusion on where you like what clinic was doing well. Like,
yeah, everybody attracts different clients. Like, you know, let's say I'm a male doing this, and then I have a female that was literally in the spot right next to me. We could both have very successful offices, or two different types of males. Everyone's going to attract different clients. You know, people come to see you because they want to get healthy, but they also come see you because they like you. And just like, you know, my friends are going to be different than your friends, who are going to be different than somebody else's friends. And there's a big universe, and we all attract what we put out there, and everybody attracts a little bit something different.
I agree with that. I think that there's so much going on out there that, you know, there's a reason that I go see Rick Kirkpatrick now for my care, and that's where Luke and I go. We go to see him because he's just a dynamic adjuster. And by the way, thank you for introducing us to him.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and then back to the competition part. I won't market for two chiropractors in one town. So once a chiropractor claims the town they're in, they get exclusivity as long as we are doing their social media marketing for them, just to keep it easy. Because we can hit everybody in their town if they want us to. So we just let them know, hey, if we're going to work with you, you can be at ease. If your neighbor or competitor sees what you're doing and they come to us, we're not going to do it for them unless you stop.
Gotcha.
So where do you see the chiropractic profession in 20 years?
It's growing fast right now. You know, all the public records and everything show, you know, slowly going up and up and up, still saying it's one of the best jobs not best jobs, the highest growing professions. So it is growing quick, and I think the more it grows, the more people, obviously, we are going to see if people do their due diligence, getting out there and getting into the communities and making a big impact. And, you know, I would love to see the chiropractic profession be something that is your first source for any type of health ailment that you have. And not even for that, but just, hey, this is part of your routine lifestyle, just like eating healthy, exercising. Kids are going to get born. They're going to go to the chiropractor within the first couple weeks, and they're going to keep going on a weekly or a monthly basis, depending on their lifestyle and their needs. And it'll keep pharmaceutical costs from going up, bring surgeries down, bring hospitalization costs and procedures and all that stuff down to a minimal level. I mean, right now, the average American runs to the doctor to get antibiotics because they have a cold. And that's nonsense. They should never do something like that. And it's not those people's fault. It's the medical community's fault for brainwashing us as we grow up. I mean, a third of every ad you see on TV or in a magazine is a pharmaceutical company. We're, I think, the only country that's allowed to advertise medicine to the consumer and not the doctor. And it's hard to blame them. It's a business. So they're making a shitload of money, and that's their only goal. That's the goal of most businesses. I don't want to say unethical, but in my opinion, that's what they are, because they don't give people a lot of natural or alternatives. I've only found just a couple doctors around here that I can trust, even sending my patients to, because the majority of them are telling me, hey, don't go see a chiropractor. So we've got a major battle between our professions. So I'm hoping 20 years down the road, we work together, because medicine does have a time and a place, and it can help people. But we use it as our first resort for everything right now, which is not the direction that we need to go. Our health will keep going like this until that paradigm changes and we start taking care of ourselves before we get sick.
Now, you already told us a lot about your marketing strategies and how you market yourself, but do you use any traditional media, or is it just all digital now?
100% digital. I do not do any traditional stuff, and I haven't over the past 2 years. Screenings, I will consider them traditional. I still do those. They're still very effective. But basically, my source of marketing is internal marketing to get referrals, social media marketing, email marketing. That's where I do a majority of my patient education. So once somebody comes in here and we get them going under care, they're gonna get emails that get them like people always want, how should I sleep? What type of food should I eat? This and that. And I don't have time to answer those questions in my office. So we send them all that information so they have it at their disposal at home. And I don't do any traditional, no print, newspapers, radio, TV, none of that stuff.
So I know you're a pretty techie guy. I know you do a lot of cycling too. Are there any apps or technologies that you really like to keep yourself engaged with, either exercise or other things that you mess around with your phone besides like Facebook Messenger?
No, I don't know if I'm following that question. Certain things I have on my phone that kind of keep me outside, getting my adjustments, like eating healthy and my exercise and stuff like that in.
Yeah, just like, what are some of your favorite apps that you use on a regular basis?
So I love Garmin's app. I got my watch on here. I've got all these things mounted on my bikes and all that stuff too. It keeps track of everything for me. And it keeps track of how you're improving. And then one of my favorite apps for any athlete, whether it's cycling, running, or swimming, is called Strava. It's kind of like a social app for athletes. And I can get on there right now. You have followers, you follow people just like you do on Facebook and Instagram. And I can say, hey, this is what my 10 buddies did today. One of them rode 100 miles at this pace, climbed this mountain. Another one didn't ride today. The other one, they rode 20 miles. And I like that type of stuff. So it kind of keeps me, motivated. I like following people that are better than me, so I can keep up on rides that they go on and say, hey, that was a pretty sweet ride you did. I don't know if I can do that yet, but I'm going to save that one, and now I can go try that when I want to go try it. So it's a nice social, interactive world for athletes.
And how do you stay effective with, I know you're heavy into Instagram and Facebook, but are there any other channels that you attack with your social media to make sure that you're hitting your biggest audiences?
All of them. Facebook, Instagram, Google+, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Okay. So, I just want to offer a lot of value to the listener out there, knowing that, if they just start doing those couple things, that they can start making a stride in their marketing and get it more social on social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
So besides technology and apps, what kind of things do you like to listen to and read? Are there any books that you're reading right now that... stand out?
So one of the other things, and this is usually what I go over with people in our, if we're having a meeting to find out if they want to start social media marketing with Vantage Point. So as a chiropractor, I'm big into the neurology and neuroscience behind the body. So I read a lot of consumer psychology, subconscious branding, and neuromarketing books to find out a little bit more about how people's brains work. So on the social world, when I'm creating an ad or a video to push out to people for any of my companies or for anybody else's companies, we're going to push out the most effective content, because I have a extremely good understanding of how other people's minds work when they are wanting to buy a product or start using a service. It doesn't happen like that. It's kind of like you got to build, and all of a sudden here they all come. And it works very well if you understand a lot more the background of how the human mind works. So Brainfluence is a book I'm reading right now. There's a lot of other, I've read dozens of books. Right now, I'm investing most of my time still into the subconscious branding and neuroscience and neuromarketing books, as well as just keeping myself up to speed on how Facebook and Instagram are changing their algorithms, which change on a regular basis, which means Vantage Point's got to change their strategies on a regular basis as well to get the best results.
Do you have any podcasts that you like to listen to?
No, not yet.
maybe the Chiro Hustle podcast will convert you.
No, I've never listened to too many podcasts. More of a reader, but Chiro Hustle is one that I'm definitely going to jump on. Good to have stuff like that when I'm going on my long bike rides to throw on instead of just listening to music. So it's something I'm looking to incorporate a little bit more. But most of it that I do is reading right now.
Do you ever get into audiobooks?
I have, and some of these books I was talking about reading, I will listen to them a little bit on audio. That's not the best way for me to learn, so that's why I don't like listening to that stuff. Reading it, writing it, underlining it, that type of stuff sticks in my mind, and then I rarely have to go back and review it because it's stuck in my mind. If I just listen to it, I'm not going to catch all the information that I want to catch.
Well, we're getting to the end of our program for the day. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get a chance to ask you?
I don't think so. You guys always do a good job in your interviews preparing the questions and cover a majority of it. And definitely we want to thank both you guys for what you're doing for the chiropractic profession. We got to keep on growing this thing and educating as many people as we can.
Absolutely. So this is the point in the show where we let our guests put out any social media or website links that they want people to find them better.
Yeah, so for the chiropractors, if you don't follow Apex Chiropractic on Instagram or Facebook, go ahead and tune in there. Watch what we're putting out there on a regular basis. Mimic it if you want. I don't care, but it'll give you good ideas on things that you can do. If you don't have the time to do it yourself or need advice, I do anything from private consulting meetings. I have an online training platform. It's a one-time purchase that you buy, and it has a full video platform for you to train yourself or one of your team members how to do this stuff for you. And you can find all of that stuff on Vantage Point Marketing's website, which is vpsocialmarketing.com. And we, like I said, we can do anything from just our consult meeting to full account management and take over everything for you. Everything just has a price and a budget, and everybody's marketing budgets are a little bit different. So if you know what your marketing budget you want to invest into social media is, I will personally give you the best plan of action, whether we do it for you or the best strategies that you can incorporate yourselves for that particular budget.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up this episode. I want to personally thank you again, Dr. Shane, for being our guest today.
Yeah, and thanks again for inviting me.
Yeah, and thank you for spending some time with me as well. I always appreciate your friendship and the brotherhood that we have in this chiropractic world together. And if anybody's interested in finding Dr. Shane, I would just go to that website, VP, what is it again?
vpsocialmarketing.com.
Awesome. And anybody that's interested in getting some consulting from Dr. Shane can run over to vpsocialmarketing.com and get yourself up to speed on this whole game of social media marketing. And Dr. Shane's a great resource for you. So I appreciate everything that you do for your community, Dr. Shane, and thank you for being on our podcast today.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a good one, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. Take care.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.